This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put him out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put it into perspective of the type of company I was in.
I heard that there's supposed to be some tapes or something that's coming out real soon, and I guess we'll all really know the truth if anything's on those tapes.
Hold up, just when you thought the Diddy drama was the peak of hip-hop chaos, DaBaby just dropped a bomb that's turning heads everywhere. In a wild turn of events, DaBaby is now pointing fingers at none other than Jay-Z, claiming that Hov might be even worse than Diddy behind the scenes. Yeah, you read that right. With the industry already in flames over the serious allegations surrounding Diddy, DaBaby's bold claims about Jay-Z are adding gas to the fire, and fans are shook. From shady deals to behind closed doors behavior and how he treats his own wife, DaBaby isn't holding back, and what he's saying could change how people view one of the most powerful men in music. So what did DaBaby really say, and could there be truth to it? Let's break it down, because this just took the industry drama to a whole new level. Just when we thought the truth bombs couldn't get any heavier in the music industry, DaBaby has stepped into the ring, and he's not holding back. With all eyes already on Sean Diddy Combs and the disturbing allegations of exploitation, trafficking, and manipulation coming to light, DaBaby is now shifting the spotlight onto Jay-Z, and what he's suggesting? It's even darker. Now listen, DaBaby isn't new to the game. He's spent years navigating the music industry from the inside out. He's been in the rooms, had the conversations, done the deals, and seen firsthand how things really work behind the polished public image. According to him, what the world is just now finding out about Diddy, he's been watching that play out for years. From how Diddy exploited young artists to how power is weaponized in the business, DaBaby's been clocking it all. He's seen the manipulation, the control, the lies, and he's been hinting that he's had enough. But now, he's taking it a step further. With Diddy's name already dragged through the mud, DaBaby is turning his attention to Jay-Z, and he's coming with heavy accusations. Word is, DaBaby's not just speculating. He's heard things, he's seen things, and he's ready to talk. And if what he's alluding to is true, Jay-Z may be hiding behind a much cleaner image than he deserves. Now, this is not all hearsay. DaBaby himself has talked in detail about how he has been there himself in instances where Jay tried to pimp his wife. We've all heard the whispers about Diddy's infamous late-night parties, the ones draped in glitz, glamour, and a heavy dose of secrecy. But now, DaBaby is breaking the silence with explosive claims that pull back the velvet curtain on what really went down behind those mansion doors. And let's just say, it's not the kind of Hollywood glamour people expect. This is dark, messy, and way deeper than we thought. In a recent interview, DaBaby opened up nervously, carefully, but unmistakably about a wild night at Diddy's mansion in 2020. The way he told it, you could tell there was more he wanted to say, but couldn't quite bring himself to. Still, what he did reveal was enough to leave fans and industry insiders shook. That night, DaBaby says the party was star-studded, filled with names like Beyonce, Jay-Z, and others you'd expect to see rubbing shoulders in the halls of music royalty. At first, it all seemed typical. Luxury, champagne flowing, beautiful people, music, your usual high-end industry gathering. But then the energy shifted. As the night wore on and the casual party guests started leaving, the vibe reportedly got strange. The crowd got thinner, the rooms got quieter, and DaBaby hinted that what happened after hours wasn't for everyone. He described an eerie tension, like something unspoken was happening just out of view. He didn't outright say it, but the message was clear. He saw things Diddy wouldn't want the world to know. And here's the kicker. DaBaby all but confirmed he was being prepped for the type of after party many now refer to as Diddy's freak-offs. Those secret gatherings were allegedly filled with select artists, odd requests, and deeply questionable behavior. What makes this even more chilling is DaBaby's body language during the interview. He looked uncomfortable, guarded, even scared. Not the same bold, brash rapper we're used to. It was like the memories alone had power over him, and that says a lot. Was he a willing participant, a bystander, a victim of the twisted games that may have unfolded at these elite gatherings? He didn't say outright, but he said enough. And now, with more survivors stepping forward and the walls closing in around Diddy, DaBaby's testimony testimony might just be one of the most crucial puzzle pieces yet. This isn't just about celebrity gossip anymore. This is about truth, power, and a culture of silence that's finally starting to crack. So, what exactly happened that left DaBaby visibly shaken, stumbling over his words, and clearly uncomfortable when recalling that infamous night at one of Diddy's ultra-private freak-off parties? DaBaby didn't lay out every grim detail, but he gave just enough for people to connect the dots. According to him, the night started off smooth, just another star-studded bash at Diddy's lavish mansion, the kind of party where A-listers like Beyonce and Jay-Z casually float from room to room like royalty. The vibe, glitzy, exclusive, high status. But what happened as the night progressed was something way darker than champagne and selfies. DaBaby says the crowd eventually started thinning out. At a certain point, Diddy made sure everyone else was gone, except for a few select people. That's when the energy shifted. The music got lower, the lights dimmer, and Puff got real close. Too close. He had took a liking to me in particular around that time, putting his arm around me.
He had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put him out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
DaBaby said it like he didn't even want to be repeating it. You could hear the tension in his voice, the way someone talks when they're tiptoeing around trauma, afraid to fully unpack it on camera. And that right there, that was the red flag. Diddy wasn't just hosting a party, he was allegedly testing boundaries. DaBaby didn't use words like assault or coercion, but the implication was loud and clear. And what makes it even more disturbing? The fact that Jay-Z and Beyonce were there. Now look, Jay-Z has always had a reputation as a calculating power player in the music industry. That's no secret, but in recent years, more people have started to question just how much influence and control he's had, not just over young artists, but even over his own wife. Beyonce is undoubtedly a queen in her own right, a megastar who redefined the industry, but people are starting to wonder how much of her image, brand, and even public decisions have been filtered through Jay-Z's lens. Let's not forget, Jay-Z is older than Beyonce, and when they first connected, she was barely an adult, still finding her voice. He was already a kingmaker in the business. That power imbalance raises serious questions now, especially with stories like DaBaby's floating to the surface. So imagine DaBaby, still rising, still figuring it all out, finding himself alone at Diddy's house, with one of the most powerful men in music wrapping his arm around him, while another power couple, Jay-Z and Beyonce, look on from the sidelines. That's not just uncomfortable, that's terrifying. Was it silent complicity, willful ignorance? Were they part of something bigger? DaBaby's story is just one piece of a puzzle that's starting to come together, and the picture isn't pretty. It's not just about one bad night. It's about a culture of control, exploitation, and silence that's been protected for far too long by wealth, fame, and fear. And if even DaBaby, a man known for his tough exterior and bold personality, was this shook by what went down, it makes you wonder how many others were there and just never said a word, and fans can see it from a mile away. One person said, "Bey and Jay have never ever gave me in love, no kind of attraction to each other, no affection, no hugs, no nothing. They never even acted like a couple. He has always acted like he's just in charge, and that's it, in my opinion." Another wrote, "Now was Solange going crazy on Jay-Z makes sense. Is he a part of the Diddy Club? If he put his hands on Beyonce, he is going down." From shady deals with young artists to alleged manipulation and backroom plays that never made headlines, DaBaby is suggesting that Hov's hands might not be as clean as fans think. And coming from someone who's had a front row seat to how this industry really works, his words are hitting different.
This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put him out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Mm-hmm. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put it into perspective of the type of company I was in.
If you thought the Diddy scandal was the final boss level of music industry corruption, DaBaby's warning, it's not. Jay-Z might be next, and he's just getting started. One detail that often gets brushed under the rug when talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce's relationship is the 12-year age difference between them. To be specific, Jay-Z is 12 years and 3 months older than Beyonce. And while age gaps aren't automatically problematic, this one raises serious eyebrows when you take into account the timing and the power imbalance between them early on. When the two first started spending time together, Beyonce was still a teenager, fresh out of Destiny's Child and still shaping her solo identity. Jay-Z, meanwhile, was already a powerful force in the music industry, a full-grown man with deep industry ties, chart-topping albums, and serious influence behind the scenes. And many now believe that influence wasn't just about business. It may have also played a major role in their relationship dynamic from the start. Plenty of people have speculated over the years that Jay-Z began courting Beyonce while she was still very young, at an age where the industry was already sexualizing her, and she may not have had the full agency or life experience to push back. The timing has always felt murky. He was a gatekeeper, she was the next big thing, and now, in hindsight, it feels less like a romance and more like a calculated move by someone in a dominant position of power. Critics argue that Jay-Z had a lot of control over her early on, professionally and personally. From shaping her public image to influencing the business side of her career, there's growing concern that he didn't just support Beyonce's rise. He may have managed and manipulated it to his own benefit. And with new conversations surfacing around exploitation in the music industry, some are starting to wonder if Beyonce was also caught in a power dynamic that looked like love on the outside, but may have been something else entirely behind closed doors. What's becoming clear is this: when one person has that much power, experience, and access, and the other is just beginning to navigate a very dangerous industry, things get complicated fast, and what once looked like a fairy tale to fans now feels more like a carefully controlled narrative. Now, let's put it out there. This is not the first time someone has mentioned that Jay-Z has pimped out Queen Bee.
Sean Carter is worse.
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
He's smarter. He's patient. He's not sloppy.
Who mechanization is that? Like
That was all Sean Carter's idea. He's probably the one that groomed Justin and make him so pliable so that they could pimp him out at all these damn music festivals. He would be the right guy for the job.
Other than Jaguar, there's one other man. Back in 2015, former Arkansas governor and 2008 Republican presidential candidate Mike Huckabee found a new way to make headlines and distance himself from then-President Obama by taking aim not at policy, but at pop culture's power couple, Jay-Z and Beyonce. In his book, God, Guns, Grits, and Gravy, Huckabee devotes space not just to political talking points, but to an eyebrow-raising critique of the Carters, particularly Jay-Z's role in Beyonce's career. According to early excerpts obtained by U.S. News and World Report, Huckabee accuses Jay-Z of exploiting Beyonce and essentially reducing her to a object for the sake of fame, attention, and money. Huckabee wrote, "Beyonce is incredibly talented, gifted in fact. She has an exceptional set of pipes and can actually sing. She's also a terrific dancer, without the explicit moves best left for the privacy of her bedroom. Jay-Z is a very shrewd businessman, but I worry that he is crossing the line from husband to pimp by exploiting his wife as a object." That line set off a firestorm at the time. While some dismissed it as another attempt from a conservative politician to attack hip-hop culture, others found themselves asking, is there any truth to what he's saying? Huckabee's criticism wasn't just about music, it was about influence. He suggested that Beyonce's performances, especially those seen by young audiences, like at award shows and the Super Bowl, were hyper under Jay-Z's direction and monetized to boost the brand they built together. To Huckabee, this wasn't empowerment, it was commodification. Whether you agree with his framing or not, Huckabee's take added fuel to a conversation that's been quietly circulating in parts of the entertainment world. How much of Beyonce's image is her own, and how much of it is carefully curated under Jay-Z's control? In hindsight, especially with all the recent allegations swirling around major industry figures, including Diddy, and now the growing speculation around Jay-Z, it makes Huckabee's commentary, controversial as it was, feel eerily ahead of its time. Mike Huckabee may have been right about one thing: Beyonce is an insanely talented, strategic force in the music industry. But everything that followed in his 2015 critique gets messy. In God, Guns, Grits, and Gravy, Huckabee accused Jay-Z of crossing the line from husband to pimp, suggesting that he was exploiting Beyonce by encouraging her to perform in a sexually expressive way. Beyonce feels like some passive figure to many now, who is on stage being choreographed and marketed by her husband. She's one of the most powerful, independent, creative minds in music. This is a woman who surprise dropped an entire visual album in the middle of the night without a single leak, redefined what a release strategy looks like, and curated every detail of her performances, image, and messaging. With Diddy now facing a wave of horrifying allegations involving abuse, trafficking, and manipulation, eyes are turning toward others in the industry who have held massive power, including Jay-Z. Whispers, rumors, and now direct accusations from artists like DaBaby have cast shadows over Jay's clean-cut business mogul image.
Because the Diddy. Oh! Diddy done turned over tapes. Allegedly, with the Carters, it's some freak off. And the Beyonce. High on the cocaine. And the tapes had jizz all over it.
Once DaBaby opened up about what happened at Diddy's infamous party, it was like a crack, split, open, the industry's silence. What once was whispered behind closed doors was now being said out loud, and people started to realize that DaBaby wasn't the only one who had seen or experienced something deeply off. Suddenly, old interviews, podcasts, and live streams started resurfacing, and one name in particular kept coming up, Jaguar Wright. Jaguar, the outspoken neo-soul singer known for exposing secrets the industry desperately wants to keep buried, had already sounded the alarm multiple times about Jay-Z's close connection to Diddy's underground party scene. Years ago, she called out the shady energy that surrounded those private, exclusive gatherings that only a select few artists and executives ever got invited to. "I've been saying this for years," Jaguar said in one explosive rant. "Jay-Z used to be at those Diddy parties all the time. Y'all just didn't want to hear it. And now, people are listening." Screenshots, photos, even video clips have started circulating online, showing Jay-Z casually hanging out at Diddy's homes and events, well beyond the public album launches and business meetings. These weren't staged media moments. These were backdoor, late-night get-togethers, the kind of spaces where what happens off-camera is the real story. Jaguar even hinted that there were witnesses and survivors who could confirm Jay-Z was more involved than the public has ever known. She stopped short of saying what exactly Jay did, but her tone was chilling, and with DaBaby's recent story matching the same energy, people can't help but look at Jay-Z in a different light. It's no longer just about Diddy's twisted kingdom. The focus is widening, and Jay-Z's name is coming up more than ever. These revelations are forcing people to reconsider how deep the rot goes in the music industry. If what Jaguar says is true, and DaBaby's story lines up, then the biggest names in hip-hop aren't just industry giants. They're players in something much more disturbing. And the scariest part, we might have only scratched the surface. For decades, Diddy's parties have been the stuff of hip-hop legend, extravagant, high-security affairs where only the elite were allowed past the velvet ropes. But behind the glitz and the glamour, behind the million-dollar views and champagne-soaked nights, there was something far more calculated happening. Diddy wasn't just hosting parties, he was documenting them meticulously. Sources close to the scene have long whispered about how Diddy would record his events, sometimes under the guise of capturing memories or for security purposes. But it went beyond casual footage. We're talking about hidden cameras, discrete audio devices, and a private archive that is said to hold years' worth of content featuring the biggest names in music, sports, and entertainment. And among those names, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Jay, known for being intensely private and in control of his image, was no stranger to Diddy's circle. The two moguls have a long and intertwined history, both coming up in the golden age of hip-hop and carving out empires far beyond music. Naturally, Jay and Beyonce, arguably the most powerful couple in entertainment, were present at some of those exclusive gatherings, and there's proof of him pimping her out at these freak-offs. And while that in itself isn't shocking, the idea that their presence was captured on video, possibly in compromising or out-of-context scenarios, is a different story altogether. That's why, when Diddy's properties were raided by federal agents, it wasn't just bad news for him, it sent a chill through the industry. Behind closed doors, the panic was real. Word started to spread that authorities had seized hard drives, laptops, surveillance equipment, potentially containing everything Diddy had recorded over the years. The fear wasn't just about the legal implications for Diddy, but about what and who might be exposed by those recordings. According to insiders, Jay-Z's team was quick to react. Lawyers were mobilized, calls were made, and quiet efforts began behind the scenes to determine exactly what the feds had taken, and more importantly, what could surface. The threat wasn't necessarily criminal exposure, but reputational damage. In an era where public perception can be currency, the possibility of being tied to whatever was going on behind Diddy's closed doors was enough to send shockwaves. Some speculate that Jay's urgency wasn't just about being present, but about what else might be on those tapes. Conversations, private exchanges, or moments that could be spun into something much larger, more scandalous. When you've built a billion-dollar brand on control, discretion, and a certain mystique, even a harmless clip can become a weapon in the wrong hands. And this wasn't just about Jay-Z. Other high-profile individuals reportedly began taking similar precautions. There was a sudden, quiet tension in Hollywood and the music industry, the kind of fear that only surfaces when secrets might become headlines. To this day, no one outside law enforcement knows exactly what was found during those raids. But one thing is clear. Diddy's habit of recording everything may have started as a power move, a way to protect himself or keep receipts, but it ended up being a potential ticking time bomb for some of the most powerful people in the world. And Jay-Z, he's still silent, but those close to the situation say the silence isn't calm, it's calculation. So, what do you think? Comment down below and let us know. If you like this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.